your location, if I could just take a moment and say, may we all be blessed and give a direction to do the best we can collectively for our community. Amen. Yes, sir.
So next, can you call roll, please?
Trustee Rogers? Trustee Reinders? Aye. Trustee Pasmino?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino? Aye. Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
And Mayor Evich.
Aye. Next would be approval for amendments to the agenda. So are there any changes?
Yes, I would like to make one change, please. I'd like to move G down to J 15.
For the public comment?
Correct, sir.
15.
I'll second that.
Okay,
We have to take a roll call.
Yes.
I'm going to put this public.
Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Trustee Pasmino?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders? Aye. Trustee Consolino? Aye. And Trustee Laha? Aye.
Carries. All right, next would be F, approval of minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Well,
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
are we, other than minutes, collectively? All of them in one?
No.
Or are we going one at a
One
time?
by one.
I have them as one by one.
Okay, you didn't
Right,
say.
so if people have changes or updates, then we should do that.
Okay, we'll go to number 1 first, October 31st, 2021.
If I may, I can speak to this. There was no special meeting statement that was read or even put forth for this meeting. We didn't start doing that until following meeting, special board meeting. So that's why it wasn't in there originally, so I just added the words as we did for the other ones.
So we're going 1 down through 10.
I'm sorry, what was that, George?
We're going, right now, if you're
I'm
looking at...
specifically talking about October 31st.
All right, so you want to...
I was okay with the changes that we discussed at last week's meeting.
That's the one for 1031?
Yes.
And you see that all those changes have been made to you?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll get with the 31st, October 31st.
Do we need to take a roll call on each one, Carrie, or just
Yes.
a voice roll call?
Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders? Aye. Trustee Consolino? Aye. Trustee Laha? Aye. And Trustee Pasmino?
Aye.
Now, second one would be July 13th, 2022, village board meeting.
I'll make that motion.
No, I'd like to motion to table, because I did review some of the changes that were added and weren't what we discussed in the meeting last week, and then I did review the video. So I would rather us have discussion and then give them back.
Okay, so you made the motion to table July 13th, 2022. I'll second that.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion on that one? Next would be
Do we need to
July...
take a roll call?
Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders? Aye. Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha? Aye. And Trustee Pasmino?
Aye.
July 28th, 2022, special village board meeting on July 28th.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion on that one?
I'm sorry, there was Fielko and Pasmino?
Yes.
Is there any other discussion on that one?
No.
Okay, next would be...
Trustee Reinders? Aye. Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Kazmino?
Aye.
And Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Next would be August 2nd, 2022 Village Board meeting.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Is there any other discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Abstain.
Trustee Kazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
And Trustee Reinders?
Next will be number 5, August 24th, 2022 Village Board meeting.
So moved.
Is there any other discussion?
I just have a small addition to E1. I'd like it to be noted who presented the Big Two Champion winners. So that would be, I think we discussed this at the last meeting as well.
Yes, you did.
So it would have been myself, the mayor, and Trustee Constable.
Is there any other discussion? This is for August 24th. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Let me just make that one change on them. Are we approving these with the changes? Is that what we're doing, guys? Okay, Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
And Trustee Kazmino?
Aye.
Next one would be September 14th, 2022 Village Board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion on that one? Madam Clerk?
Actually, there is, I don't know how we should do this, either edit it here or table it. This was the piece that we spoke of under J1. The discussion under J1 under old business, from what I'm reading, it leads to sentiment that I just wanted to, it almost kind of reads that I want to hide what's going on with the forgeries and that type of thing. I wanted to get to the bottom of it, and that's not how this reads. So, I mean, I don't know if that's something we should just table and so
We
it's
should
just clear.
table it, yeah.
I'll remove my motion on this one.
Is this the one you wanted to email me your sentiments on?
No, that's not the one. I emailed you the sentiments I had on the other one. This
This was
wasn't.
the motion and the second.
Trustee Consolino made the first and Trustee Fielko made the second.
I'll remove my second.
I'll remove my first.
Needed a motion.
And now we need a
So I'll motion to
table.
table this specific.
I will second.
Christine, could you please do the roll call?
Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
And Trustee Kazmino?
Aye.
Next one would be October 12th, 2022 Village Board meeting.
On this one,
Is this October 12th?
This is number 7, this is October
October
12th,
12th,
2022.
October 12th, we're on now. You just did September 14th.
Right.
Oh, he read it from the
Okay.
Wait, is there a motion? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Dan, this is the one I wanted to see if, well, no,
Well, we could,
motion, I'll offer.
the way you saw it, does it look like it needs to be tabled and corrected?
I think you should look at page 5, that's up to you.
All right, how about we table October 12th? I'd like to make the motion to table October 12th review.
I'll second.
Second. Okay, wait, okay, so Fielko and Trustee Reinders, was that?
No, Jen.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
And Trustee Kazmino?
Aye.
Next would be
Yes.
October 26th, 2022 Village Board meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
No, I was good with corrections.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Abstain.
Trustee Kazmino?
Aye.
And Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Next would be November 9th, 2022 Village Board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion on this one? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Consolino?
Abstain.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Pedrino?
Aye.
Trustee Fielko? And Trustee Reinders?
And the last one, December 14th, 2022, village board meeting.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that one?
This one. Small correction. Actually, never mind, no, there's nothing. I'm good.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Pedrino?
Aye.
Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino? And Trustee Laha?
Abstain.
Okay, public comment got moved down, so we'll go to reports and communications from mayor and other officers. I have nothing to talk about right now, so we'll go to the trustees. And we'll start with trustee Fialko.
All right, thank you, sir. What I'd like to report on at this time, I am the chair of admin and finance, and what I'd like to do is update the community on approximately the last 20 months. I'd also like to encourage everybody to come out to the admin and finance meetings that we have once a month. On the first of the month, it's that first Wednesday, or the first Wednesday of the month, and it's at 4 o'clock. And we don't get any participation from the public out there, usually. Rarely do we have somebody show up, maybe one here and there. But just to put that out there, our admin and finance meetings are at 4 o'clock on the first Wednesday of every month. To carry on from there, just to give you a little bit of an update about our businesses. In 2021, when this board came on site here, when we all got sworn in, during that year, there were 21 businesses that opened, 15 were retained, and new construction, there were 2. In 2022, there have been 21 businesses that have opened, and 1 new construction building. With that said, the retail space vacancy, that was a big concern of everybody's 2 years ago. As of January 4th, 2021, it was at 5.8%. As of February 7th, 2023, we are down to 2.6. So in that time span, it's been cut in half. As far as our finances that we have with the village, right now, our budget was for $14 million last year. Where we're at is about $13 million of that budget, and we're under budget by $978,000 at the moment. So the other thing is, when we looked at money from 2020, we were at $29 million that the village holds. We are now at $35 million, and that was without raising taxes. I know there was some concern that we should, some people in this audience thought we should raise taxes, and gave me the earful when we didn't. But I want you to know that without raising taxes, with adding all the good things to the community, with filling the storefronts, we have went from $29 million all the way to, well, I think it's actually more than $35 million now. Aren't we somewhere close to 37? Because this is a 2022 report.
I think we're closer to 37.
So we're closer to $37 million in that period of time. So that is my update from the Admin and Finance Committee. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Trustee Reinders?
Good evening, everyone. Just a couple updates for everybody. We are working on the Veterans Memorial Brick Program. We are actually putting it online this week. I met with Elena and gave her some forms to start to put online. So everybody will be able to go online and actually pick out their brick. What we're doing is we're actually getting the size of the brick right now. It's going to be 9 1/4 by 4. So there'll probably be about 4 lines on there that you'll be able to fill out on there. So we're actually, and that will all be available for everybody to fill out online. And Brett Westcott and myself, we're looking at maybe for the first year, replacing the bricks 3 times during the year instead of 2. Most of the surrounding municipalities, they basically do that 2 times a year. So we're looking at just for the first year, 3 times, because it is a new memorial, and we're going to be working with Touch of Green Landscaping. And they said that for the first year, they'd like to really get as many bricks in as possible. So that's why we're really trying to get this form really online for everybody to start filling out and start collecting information. So also, we've been getting, since last summer, we were getting a lot of calls from Stonebridge regarding the pickleball courts and some of the courts in the surrounding areas. I've been working with Jennifer Vittori, and she's really had a hard time trying to get estimates. People are just not returning calls, but she did get, she just recently got some estimates from U.S. tennis courts, and they range for repairs on these courts anywhere from $11,725 all the way to $114,000. Now, the $11,000 is like minor repairs, just filling cracks in, power washing, and trying to get them up to in restriping. But once you start getting into having to really resurface with asphalt, they're finding that it's coming in really, really expensive. So 114 was the highest bid that we got. So we'll have to take that to committee, to the Parks Committee, and then we'll discuss it there. And then one more thing is I'd like to just give a thanks to Jacqueline and her committee, Elena, and our new person in the planning department. They have worked really hard on putting a program together for our sponsorship. They've restructured it. And now you'll be able to go online and look at the programs and be able to fill out the forms and donate at that point in time. So, which is going to really help us a lot, because before it was a lot of people coming in we were contacting people. So now it's going to make it a lot user friendly. So, and that's my report.
Thank you. Next would be Trustee Gasmino.
Thank you, sir. Reporting for the Environment Committee. A couple of things that we were working on one of the things we were working on was the commemoration of individuals by applying a tree or a bench or something of that sort. At this point, we're kind of looking at boulders and plaques. I think we're going to start with that first to see how that goes before we go into benches, because benches are very expensive, the maintenance is very expensive, and the installation is as well. So we're going to take it slow, little by little. So we are going to start with that first. Also, we had spoken, seems like, this is something even before my chairmanship on the committee, tree preservation has always been an issue for that committee. So we thought of creating a subcommittee. We're not sure how we're going to do that yet, but these are things that they're very passionate about, and I just can't sit on my hands. So we're going to look into that. And we'll get more information to everybody as it comes out. One thing that I did want to speak of, ladies and gentlemen, we're in election season. We understand what that entails. When you get into elections, you know what you're up against. There's a lot of nastiness out there, and it's a shame. People that choose to serve their community choose to serve as a sacrifice, not any gain, especially when you're local, because you just want to make things better. For the past 3 weeks, people have come after my family, my business, my sister, and my father. And I see people going after other people's parents. And it's not right. So I ask the slate that's running against us, or any other slate that's running, put that aside. If that's what you need to win an election, you got problems. We're all in the same neighborhood. We shop together. We go to the same grocery stores. We bump into each other. At the end of the day, we live with each other. Please, put that down. Work on your platform. Work on what you're going to do for this village. Leave our families alone. Thank you.
Thank you. Reporting for the Ability Awareness Committee, we have 2 events that are coming up in March. We have one on March 7th, in which we're going to have Ruben Law come and talk to our community members about what parents with special needs children need to do when their kids turn 18. This is going to be the legal side of things, and we're excited because we actually have Brian Rubin coming himself. So it's going to be a really nice time to get your questions answered and to get some information. We also have another event coming up on March 14th, which is going to be a pizza and ice cream social to introduce the Ability Awareness Committee to people who may not know what we do and what we stand for, to bring your kids or your adults in, or people that are just curious, maybe want to volunteer. The committee members will be there to answer questions and just kind of offer community. So we would love to see you. We're going to have some links placed out on our social media so you can RSVP so we know to expect you. So I hope you all come. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Consolino.
Good evening. Due to the fact that our mayor and clerk Nechke encouraged their friends to consume nearly an hour of the January 25th village board meeting with campaigning and electioneering during public comment, I have quite a lengthy speech prepared tonight, so I hope you brought your sippy cups. I'm going to address public comment. Public comment is an essential part of local government meetings. By law, there are guidelines for public comment that refer to conduct in board meetings. Model courtesy and respect is encouraged. It's called decorum. If you look up decorum, it means behavior that is socially correct, calm, and polite. Majority of our residents use decorum when they speak at our village board meetings. However, we have a small band of campaign cohorts that continue to disrupt and abuse our public commentary. Residents have a right to make critical and harsh remarks, but they do not have the right to disrupt a meeting. The council, not the mayor, may prohibit demonstrations of booing, hissing, and clapping. These interruptions hinder free speech, both on the part of the elected officials and of the public. And if you look up some of the case laws on this issue, anyone who's a council member who feels threatened can request police or security assistance, not just the mayor. In the past, several times I have asked the police officers to intervene, and each time our mayor has scolded me and told me that I can't because he's the mayor and only he has authority. Our mayor, Trustee Beth Rogers, and our village clerk want these personal attacks because they want the chaos and the drama. It's called electioneering. They've been in non-stop campaign mode since the day after I and 4 other trustees won our election. Before I was elected, I attended a lot of meetings both for the township and the village. Nobody behaved like what I see from the Friends of Mayor Yukich and Christina Nechke. I never behaved like this. I attended meetings in their entirety to see how items were discussed and how they were passed. I spoke politely and firmly at public comment about issues on the agenda, kind of like what I do when I'm up here. I didn't scream, I didn't swear, I didn't make violent false accusations, yet here we are, enduring it from a campaign crew for approximately 2 years now. Before our last election, this uncivilized decorum was never permitted because the mayor and the previous board members would not allow it. Lieutenant Hawley would never allow it. I witnessed him numerous times hushing people in the audience just for whispering. Our mayor, Trustee Rogers, Clerk Nechke are all encouraging this disrespect, the lies, the personal attacks, and the nonsense, because it's a loophole for them to electioneer during a board meeting. How do I know they're electioneering? Same people physically disrupting our meetings are the same ones who get up at that podium time and time again. They spew venom, hatred, and make false, unsubstantiated accusations. They are the same people who are actively and publicly working on their campaigns. Some of them are even former village officials, and they're the most vocal of all. They scream and swear from the audience, and they verbally assault elected officials on this dais. Mr. Gockel is one of the worst offenders. He was never even an elected official. His buddy, the mayor, appointed him by default. He was also appointed to our planning commission. This same bitter former village official is standing in meetings screaming false accusations at the members on this board. Just a few meetings ago, we were all accused of taking money and bribes. Pretty hefty and nasty accusation, and one that is completely false. This comes from a guy who calls me the Kraken, and proudly uses the Confederate flag as his profile picture on social media. I'm glad that my fellow board members called him out publicly for being a liar, because that's all he is, a liar, campaigning for Clerk Nechke for mayor. Sharon Suisse is another bitter former village trustee who loves to make false accusations. I used to have a great deal of respect for Mrs. Suisse. I thought she was committed to our community. She also put up with a lot of abuse from the mayor and his merry band of male comrades on this board, just like former trustee Annie Holtz. I'd like to say, I feel like that's just like I am, but what I get is worse, much, much worse. I get the full brunt of our misogynistic mayor because I'm a female, and more importantly because I stand up to him and call him out with his dirty deals and his corruption. I guess I'm stronger than Sharon and stronger than Annie, and I have board members who actually stick up for me. Thank you. They didn't have anyone sticking up for them. I also have a reward ahead of me to look forward to. I will outlive little King Rottentot on this board, and I will leave behind a legacy of productivity instead of corruption. Most notably, in my opinion, was Speaker Judy Van Lonkhuizen, a speaker who has stepped up to the public comment several times now to personally attack me, repeatedly make false accusations at the podium, via email and daily, and I do mean daily social media posts. One might call her Kretschmar McGee. I call her George Yukich's campaign cohort. Mrs. Van Lonkhuizen and the mayor, again, publicly committed slander and defamation of my character at the last meeting, even though I've requested formally for both of them to cease and desist. I guess that doesn't apply when you're in campaign mode. Any lie or false accusation is okay, right? Mrs. Van Lonkhuizen has gone so far as to accuse me of stalking her and send photos of cars parked at a gas station by her workplace. Guess what? Nobody knows who any of those cars belong to, and more importantly, none of them are mine. There's a name for what Mrs. Van Lonkhuizen does at our board meetings, her posts, and in her emails. It's called false victimization. Mrs. Van Lonkhuizen has stalked me repeatedly for the past 3 years, and my family members. She drives past my house, although she does not live in my subdivision, and she even stalks me while I'm grocery shopping. She obsesses about me day and night with her Village Square page posts and her Homer Township page posts. She doxes my 78-year-old mother and makes fun of her, as well as my daughter. Mrs. Van Lonkhuizen does not dignify a response from me on what my feelings are towards her grotesque actions, because she doesn't just do it to me. She does it to a lot of the elected officials from both the village and the township. She does it to members of the HGRO. Mrs. Van Lonkhuizen is a scary and sad individual, and I sincerely hope that she seeks out medical assistance. Anyone who listens to her or reads her comments knows this. At our last meeting, for the umpteenth time, they both brought up their false accusation about me stating that they were having an affair. I think this accusation is well over a year old now. For those who enjoy watching our meetings, you may remember the mayor abusing public comment to grandstand and pound his chest with this false accusation. Maybe I didn't make it loud enough or clear enough the last time I addressed this false accusation. I never, ever said that these two people were having an affair. Never. I did make a comment that they had an inappropriate relationship. I then elaborated to say that they had been meeting at the village and at township meetings, as well as phoning each other. I even FOIA'd the village for Ms. Van Lonkhuizen's emails and meetings with the mayor. The implication was and is the same, that the mayor and Mrs. Van Lonkhuizen have been colluding for the past 2 years to attack myself and members of this village board, all because of politics. How disturbing is that? The mayor has also been divulging village information when conversing with Mrs. Van Lonkhuizen, not just to electioneer for Clerk Christina Netschke-Trike's mayoral campaign, but to also sabotage our very village. Both individuals slipped up when they rambled on and on at the last village board meeting. They openly admitted that they meet and talk, so I'm not sure how any of what I've said about the two of them and their campaigning together is false. FYI, inappropriate is defined as not suitable or proper in the circumstances. I'm not quite sure what dictionary George and Kretschmar are reading, but I haven't found adulteress anywhere or extramarital. Also, Kretschmar McGee seemed to ramble on that she somehow got Norma Ray taken off Facebook, as if she killed her or something. No, you didn't, Ms. Van Lonkhuizen. Norma Ray got taken down by Facebook for a meme that stated, "Winter, go kill yourself." I have the screenshots. So there's another lie that you're publicly spreading. Thank you for continuing to waste the village's time and to spew vile commentary, false accusations, and for stalking everyone. Last but not least, we had another former village official and blast from the past step up to electioneer at our last meeting. Former Mayor Russ Petrizzo. Russ surprisingly spewed a lot of inaccurate information about the public question regarding the feasibility study on the upcoming April 4th election ballot. When he addressed board members after the meeting, he admitted that he had apparently been given misinformation, but he didn't really care to apologize. He's backing Clerk Netchke-Troike for mayor, but what do you expect from a guy whose legacy to the village of Homer Glen consists of being our first mayor and is responsible for selling our water utilities for $1 million? His gift of incompetence is a gift that will keep on giving to every single resident in Homer Glen who pays an arm and a leg for their water bill every single month. Why would I expect this guy to do his homework on what the public question actually was? I'd like to add that Russ carried on about a feasibility study that he did while he was in office. What Russ didn't point out was that he did this in-house, not professionally. If the question passes, the village will go out for RFPs to look into the cost for a part-time police department, not a full-time one. It also does not mean we will be doing it if the cost will be too burdensome on the village of Homer Glen. This board is not like our previous board. We didn't vote to take over a public works department that we weren't prepared for and did not do a feasibility study for to figure out what the actual costs would be. We also aren't the board that was about to put the mayor's Disneyland version of a sports complex that he and his staff admitted they would have to have given us another municipal tax just to support. A sports complex that wasn't meant for the residents of Homer Glen, by the way. A sports complex that was meant for traveling sports teams and to benefit the pockets of the mayor and his investors. I finally witnessed some of my fellow board members start to respond back to all the vile behavior and lies. Lies and liars need to be called out by this board. This turning the other cheek and trying to stick strictly to village business isn't working, especially when the other side doesn't play by the rules and has zero integrity or ethics. The truth may hurt, but it'll set you free from the dirty politics and the corruption going on behind the scenes. I had to send an email to the board last week regarding the public policy question for the feasibility study. I also attached about 50 screenshots with a whole host of misinformation regarding what the actual question on the ballot is. Our beloved clerk was electioneering on Facebook. Now, she's totally permitted to electioneer on social media, but technically, she's not really allowed to lie about the content of any village business and putting out information while representing herself as the clerk of the village of Homer Glen. Here is the actual referendum question that was voted on and approved on 1/11/2023. Shall the village board pursue exploring a feasibility study to create and maintain a part-time police department within the village of Homer Glen? This is exactly what should be on the April 4th ballot. So I'm really confused as to where all this misinterpretation or lies keep coming from. The question is simple, because it is simple. We did this so not to confuse anyone, because usually those referendums are pretty screwy. Yet, here we are, our mayor is confused, Trustee Rogers is confused, Clerk Netchke-Troike is confused, and all of their campaign cronies are confused on the subject. I don't see where it says we're putting in a police department, part-time or full-time. I don't see where the hell it talks about SROs at our schools that according to the clerk will cost a few $100,000 each. Better yet, Trustee Beth Rogers wants us to have a workshop town hall to explain to you this simple question. She wants to campaign and electioneer with it on behalf of Clerk Netchke-Troike. I'm going to make this really, really simple, and I'm going to speak very slowly and very clearly. A feasibility study is a detailed analysis that considers all of the critical aspects of a proposed project in order to determine the likelihood of its succeeding. Doesn't get any more black and white than that statement. The referendum is asking the residents if they would like us to conduct a feasibility study to explore acquiring a part-time police department and the cost breakdown for such. Any other conjecture by Clerk Netchke-Troike, Mayor George Yukich, and Trustee Beth Rogers is propaganda and electioneering. Trustee Rogers wants a cost breakdown? Of what? It hasn't been voted on yet. The cost breakdown will come if residents want a feasibility study. That's what a feasibility study is. This is for the residents to decide on. Why wouldn't you want them to have a voice? You only seem to want to have a voice if it's campaigning in the direction that you want. I'd like to also address Mayor Yukich specifically about these ballot initiatives. At the last board meeting, you rambled on about this costing the village thousands of dollars. Trustee Pasmino had to explain to you that it didn't cost us a dime. I wasn't there, but I know why you said it. I'm the one that did my homework into your illicit payments to Seraphin. The political campaign firm that you secretly funneled $4,000 a month to from September 2020 to April 2021 through your attorney, Eric Hansen, and his law firm, Mahoney, Silverman and Cross. $4,000 a month, which for those 8 months equaled $32,000. My FOIAs showed how you illegally had them campaign for your ballot initiative with the road district referendum and the municipal tax that would come with it in November of 2020. Pathetic how there was no work product for what Seraphin did for our village, but they got paid $4,000 from a month from December 2020 through April 2021. You didn't get board approval, and you didn't abide by our village ordinances and get approval from the A&F committee that Trustee Rogers was sitting on at the time, and you didn't abide by our village ordinance regarding public media and/or electioneering, and you sure as hell didn't abide by the state of Illinois' election campaign finance laws. It wasn't legal for you to campaign and electioneer with village funds for the road district and its municipal tax. It also wasn't legal to use village funds to campaign an election for your former village trustees, who all lost. I need to point out to our taxpayers how coincidental that your contract with them covered the last election, but you had no work product. How illegal would it be if you had paid them to campaign for your friends, Brock Backel, Carlo Caprio, and Keith Gray? Karma has a weird way of coming back to bite you in the ass. You spent thousands of our taxpayer dollars illegally, and they lost anyways. By the way, I'd like to remind our board members that talking about their campaign, talking about their signage in person, around the phone, etc., with or in front of staff and our residents while on village property or in the village offices is illegal. You know who you are, so do our residents. Why do I have to say this over and over and over? 3 more village board meetings until the mayoral election. 3 more. 55 days until the election. 55 very long days. Hang in there, Homer Glen. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, no matter who you decide to vote for. I want to personally thank residents who have been coming up to me lately and telling me to keep fighting. It is much appreciated, and it's so much needed. It reminds me that I'm doing the right thing by telling the truth up here. I'm asking all of you to please come out and vote and research your candidates carefully. The same handful of social justice warriors screaming on social media do not provide any accurate history on any of these candidates. Look at how people vote and what they accomplished while they were in office. Look at who attends the meetings and what they say. Listen for the facts and the statistics and judge for yourself who you think is the most qualified. Please be advised we have several very kind staff members at the Village Hall who can assist you with getting registered to vote if you are not already. Homer Township has staff on hand as well, and so does Homer Township Library. This is such an ugly election. Remember, out of the 24,000 residents, only several thousand usually come out to vote in the consolidated election. Everyone's voice really needs to be heard this time. Early voting will start on the 23rd, and this election doesn't just include our board, but school boards and libraries as well. The village has been freezing our tax levy, but you won't see it if these other governing bodies refuse to do the same. 65% of America is living paycheck to paycheck right now. Please do your due diligence and come out and vote. Thank you.
Okay. We're all set there. We'll go to the village clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. The January 11th and January 25th 25th minutes are complete. I was asked not to put them on the agenda today. I'm still waiting for trustee Consolino's report for January 11th. And then executive session minutes are also not on the agenda today, which they were supposed to be. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you. Village attorneys,
No report, Your Honor.
Jerry,
Thank you, Mayor. I do not have a report.
thank you. Public safety officials,
No report.
thank you, sir. Village manager,
I do have a report, thank you, Mayor. Just a reminder, Valentine's for the vet and seniors is due by February 10th. We're just trying to get some Valentine's in so we can pass them out. So we're really excited about that. I also like to say that our Homer Fest website is up. There are some schedules on there. And we do have the food vendor application for Homer Fest. So we're looking forward to it. We got 15 spots this year. We're really excited because we expand the food vendors a little bit more this year. So I'm really happy to see that. So that's a big part of some fun that we have out there with the fest. So, and that's all I have to report.
thank you, Carl. All right, next is a consent agenda. There's only one thing on it. Consider for approval the accounts payable for the period of January 27, 2023 through February 9, 2023 in the amount of $173,369.82.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Baha?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
And trustee Vezmino?
Aye.
Thank you. Next would be legislation and action items. Number 1, consider for approval payments of the Village of Homer Glen's December legal bills from legislative attorney Odelson, Stirk, Murphy, Frazier, and McGrath, Limited, in the amount of $7,122.50.
I'll make that motion.
Sorry.
Well, go ahead. I'll take a
That
second.
was trustee Consolino.
And then,
Discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Vezmino?
Aye.
Trustee Baha?
Aye.
Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino? Aye. And trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Thank you. Next would be consider for approval payment of the Village of Homer Glen's December legal bills from Mahoney, Silverman, and Cross LLC in the amount of $7,291.25.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Discussion?
I just had a quick question on this one. There was a line item for, it was like $6,000 for the electoral board hearing. So if something like that comes up, the cost comes up, who gives that approval?
I thought it was all pretty much for the electoral board hearing.
You know, I said various questions earlier today, and the way, maybe Eric could explain it better, but the way I understand it, it's our electoral board. Eric is the lawyer, that is where the cost would be comes from.
So it's automatic, nobody says,
No,
so no, it is automatic, or yes, it is automatic?
What's on?
So for example, a dispute comes up, like in this situation, and somebody has to say, okay, well, this is what it's gonna cost to deal with this dispute. Are we going forward with it? Do you approve it, or is it just happen and then you get the bill? Just like anything else.
As far as the dispute for what?
Look, it says the electoral board, so.
Yeah, so I mean, the electoral board, because there was an objection filed,
Right,
the electoral board had to be formed and go through that process.
okay.
I mean, you can't simply say, we're not doing the electoral board, we're not meeting, we're not doing these things. You had to address the objection at all.
So on this one, it shows that a separate entity was called in by the law firm, and that's something you guys pretty much
No.
say yes to.
Let me explain that.
Sure.
That was in order to fill the position that you would have held, but you weren't able to
Right.
seat because you're running for it.
Mhm.
The objector pointed out that we needed to ask the chief judge to appoint a member of the public. I sent a letter, sent copies to both the objector and the respondent, asking the chief judge to appoint someone. I had no input on who he was appointing. He appointed the third member, and that was that.
Okay. So the extra, So basically, the fee for that special meeting was $6,000. So that's what the line item, I just want to be clear, this is the first time I've ever seen it.
Which line item are we talking about?
So for example,
That's a grant, the total at the end?
yeah, well, the total, I'm sorry.
That's the total for all the electoral board work that we work on.
Okay,
It's not really detailed.
Yeah. that's all. Thank you, Counselor.
Okay, any other discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Pazino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha? Aye. Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Trustee Cancelino?
Nope.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
All right. Next would be consider for approval ordinance number 23-008, an ordinance amending 83-68 of the Homer Glen Code, decreasing the number of Class A restaurants and service bar liquor licenses by one. Chipotle Mexican Grill, Inc., DBA Chipotle Mexican Grill, number 2658.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Discussion?
If I may, this is just a cleanup
Yep.
one. Yes, you guys do. Okay.
It is.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Pazino?
I must abstain because I hold the liquor license.
Trustee Laha? Aye. Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Trustee Cancelino? Aye. Trustee Reinders?
I must abstain, I hold a liquor license.
Trustees Pazmino and Reinders, you are not required by law to abstain. You're just abstaining because you own a restaurant and have a liquor license in the restaurant, but you do not have to abstain. You have no interest in this entity whatsoever, unless you have it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we didn't know that.
You are not
Our
required.
council told us.
Yeah, we were told that we could
I don't
not.
believe you're
Actually, I was
required
made
to
to sit in
abstain.
the audience by council. I didn't
Oh,
know this is, yeah, you made me sit in the audience once when a vote like this came up. But this is why we have another attorney. This is exactly why. But thank you, I appreciate it.
And just to finish this up, we did not take a liquor license away from Chipotle. Chipotle chose to not serve liquor anymore, so that's why we're depleting it by one with the village county.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Okay, sorry. Trustee Pazmino? Wait, are we already
We did the roll call.
Yeah, sorry.
We're on Jason.
There was only 3 ayes on that
We need
motion,
the
so
mayor
the
vote.
mayor has to vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor Yukich.
No, I'm not voting.
There were 3 ayes
We
on it.
vote for.
Right, you need 4, you need
You
majority.
have to have at least 4 to approve that.
With the council's advice, he told you guys you were able to vote on something.
All right, so I withdraw my abstain and I'll vote aye.
Okay, then I'll withdraw mine because we were misinformed before. So I'd like to withdraw my abstain. 2 years of this.
You're-
2 years.
you're-
4 years of this.
You're withdrawing or abstaining?
I'm withdrawing, I'm abstaining, and I'm voting, yes.
Voting yes.
And I'm voting yes.
Okay.
Wow. Thank you, council, I appreciate it.
It's okay.
Too bad we didn't have you 4 years ago.
Okay, next, consider for approval. Consider for approval ordinance number 2309, an ordinance amending 8368, the code of the village of Homer Glen, increasing the number of Class A liquor licenses issued within the village of Homer Glen.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Is there any other?
And just so everybody knows what's happening here, because we have 3 items about liquor licenses. When we take one away from the count for the village, we have to add one, and then you'll see the next thing on number 4 is to add it to somebody else who was looking for one. So we're now adding that one more liquor license back to the tally as almost like a vacant liquor license to then go to the next business that wanted it, which is going to be under J5.
How many are we permitted to have right now?
We don't have a limit.
We don't have a limit?
Yeah, it's the board votes to increase or decrease
Right.
liquor license.
I think Jennifer's question was, do we have a limit on how many we have in the village? No, we don't have.
So no moratorium, gotcha.
Roll call.
Yes.
Trustee Laha? Aye. Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Trustee Cancelino?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
And trustee Pedro?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, consider approval for ordinance number 23010, an ordinance assigning an available Class A liquor license restaurant with service bar to DSP Restaurants Inc., owners Jordan Nicopolis, Steve Zubakis, and Peter Kusavchak, DBA Blueberry Hill.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
If everybody doesn't mind, I'd like to start off just to explain. Is the owner of Blueberry Hill here? If you could possibly step up to the podium, please. Because what I'd like to do is, when we have a liquor license, the way our liquor license works, the structure of the liquor license is in a fiscal year. Our fiscal year is May 1st, and then it's for that fiscal year back to the end of April, right? Now, when a new person applies for a liquor license, and Carmen, help, if I get something wrong, let me know, but I'm pretty sure I got it down. You have to pay an initial $1,000 for a liquor license. But then to have, that's the application fee.
It's 2,000. The original license is 2,000 for a full term.
No, yeah, the original, but the application fee is $1,000.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm starting. The application fee for the liquor license is $1,000. Then to go from May to June, or till April, in one fiscal year, it's $2,000 to have a liquor license. So when you first start off, like, if a business was starting, it would be $3,000 just to get started between the 1 year and the initial application fee. So what I looked at here for you, sir, is you're asking for a liquor license right now, which is great, but you only have 3 months left for your fiscal year. So you paid the $1,000 application fee, but I don't think that you should have to pay for, now what we do by the ordinance is they split it in half by the year. So it goes from May till April if you're already established. But if you're just starting with the liquor license, we have May through October, but then they split it November to April. But technically you only have 3 years. So if I take, 3 months. Sorry about that. But what you shouldn't have to do is pay for all those months that you're not going to be utilizing it, because when May 1st rolls around, you're going to owe $2,000 for your liquor license. You know that, right?
I would agree with you.
Okay, so what I want to do is I want to prorate it for you, and I'm going to make that motion to prorate it. So you would only be paying for February, March, and April. That way, and I believe when I did the math on it, I broke it down, the $2,000 divided by 12 becomes to be about $167. That would be about, what it would end up being is about $167, right? So if we times that by 3, that's $500. So are you okay with that, instead of paying $1,000?
That would be appreciated.
I just want to make sure you're okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You sure? Okay, so I would like to make the motion to prorate the 3 months that are left. Is your name George, sir?
Steve.
Steve, you're Steve? Okay. For Blueberry Hill, let me say, I'll say for Blueberry Hill, I'd like to make the motion to prorate it to the 3 months where the total would be your $1,000, I believe you already paid,
Yes.
and to prorate it down to where you'd only pay the $500, which would be approximately $167 per month. Is that fair?
Yes, it is.
Usually
Thank
do
you.
prorate it. so-
No, I already went through this all day long. We don't prorate. We go from November to April on the second half of the year.
Oh, okay, 6 months.
As long as we
I
do
will
it,
do
I'll
that.
second it.
I'll second that motion,
Well, I
yes.
need a second to amend this fee
I will second to amend the fee down to just the 3 months.
to the $1,500 from 2,000.
Any other questions?
Well, trustee Fielko, you
1,500.
made a motion,
I,
and you're changing it.
Yes, I am seconding. Great.
If there's no other discussion, then the clerk please call the roll.
It's at 2,000.
now we have to vote twice, I believe. We will vote one on the motion to amend and then on.
Correct. Okay, trustee Pezino,
Aye.
trustee Laha,
Aye.
trustee Fielko,
Aye.
trustee Cancelino,
Aye.
trustee Reinders.
Aye.
All right, now we're going to do a
Motion
motion.
carries.
We got to vote on the motion itself.
Trustee Laha,
Aye.
trustee Fielko,
Aye.
trustee Cancelino,
Aye.
trustee Reinders,
Aye.
and trustee Pezino.
Aye.
Motion
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, next, number 6, consider for approval ordinance number 23-011, ordinance granting a variance to permit a mix of brick, stone, and cement board siding materials on the first floor of the dwelling in lieu of exterior construction standard 7567A. Applicability and scope, type of building or structure. The code of the Village of Homer Glen for Circle property located in the R1 Single Family Residential District, 14432 West Hickory Avenue, Homer Glen, Illinois.
So moved. I'll second.
I'm sorry, who?
Ladies first.
Consolino and Vesino.
We'll list the ladies have.
It was Nikki.
Mickey and Consolino, okay.
Is there any, do you have any questions?
Joe, did you have anything to add to this under your review? And
Yeah, I'm currently reviewing other communities and their ordinances regarding exterior material. It seems like we are in line with a lot of the other communities, and I'll be bringing that forward in the future.
and you're good with this, right?
I'm warmed up there.
Any other questions?
No, I think it looks very nice.
It's beautiful.
Gorgeous house.
Very nice.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Consolino? Aye. Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Vesmino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha? Aye. And Trustee Fielko?
Aye. Is the homeowner builder here?
Yes.
No. Congratulations.
All right, number 7, consider for approval ordinance number 23-012, an ordinance granting a variance to permit a mix of brick or stone, cement board, siding materials for the first floor of the building, in lieu of exterior construction. Applicability and scope, type of building or structure, the code of the Village of Homer Glen, real property, R1 Single Family Residential District, 14458. Spring Creek Road, Homer Glen, Illinois.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Is the homeowner here for the building? Can you step up? Thank you for investing in Homer Glen for one. But we've got to make a motion.
The motion, you made the motion, and Trustee Reinders seconded.
I second.
Okay. But anyways, thank you for investing in Homer Glen. Joe, as far as everything goes, again, this is good.
Quality
we're all right?
materials that are being used here.
Looks beautiful.
Looks beautiful.
Looks beautiful. Congratulations.
Do
Thank you.
we have any questions for her?
No.
Okay.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino? Aye. Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
And Trustee Vesmino?
Aye.
Motion.
Congratulations.
Number 9, consider for approval for consider for approval number 23-013, request for 1, variance to reduce the required side yard building setback from 20 feet to 10 feet, and second, a variance to reduce the required front yard building setback from 80 feet to 21 feet, and a variance to increase the maximum driveway width from 28 feet to 33 feet for certain real property located in the R2 Single Family Residential District of 16455 South Hidden Cove Court, Homer Glen, Illinois, H22231.
Melissa?
Yes.
Do you have anything
I'll
else?
do that, make the motion.
No, I thought we- sorry.
Did you make, did I already say motion?
Are you making a
So
motion?
moved.
So moved.
Somebody else want a second?
Second.
All right, discussion?
Nicole?
Yeah, Melissa, what is,
Is the home
the only thing that,
person?
from the 80 feet to 21 feet, that's the only thing that was a big, huge change on this one.
It just seems like it's an odd shape.
It seems like, yeah, I just want to,
Odd shape.
Okay, the 80 feet is made for private resident
Okay.
subdivisions, and that is like a big farmhouse where
Sure.
the house is really far back from the road. I don't even have 80 feet altogether in my whole yard to put anything, so it has to come up
Sir,
30 is
hold on
normal.
1 second while we kind of have our discussion.
Oh, sorry, I should have asked you.
Unless nobody asked, right, just yet?
No, I just,
What I want to point out here in our discussion is that you are on a cul-de-sac, basically. You're on the end of a road, and in that a lot size is a little bit of an odd shape, right? And you're trying to fit your house into that piece of property. And I can see the difficulty you had, but you did it. And our planning commission thought that you did a good job with how you set your plans up. So I will be voting yes for it, just so you know.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask Brent and Melissa, was there any issues about the drainage concerns that the neighbors had?
Not with regard to this, and I believe they do have, engineering plans have been reviewed on this.
Yep.
Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
I know trustee Gilp's vote.
I will say aye, if you're asking, are you asking?
I'm asking trustee Castellino? Aye. Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
And trustee Baha? Aye.
Congratulations, sir.
Number 9, consider for approval the purchase of 2 stand and ride lawnmowers for maintenance of 159th Street right-of-way and median cutting from Shorewood Home and Auto.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Discussion?
If I can. This just went through admin and finance, and just so everybody knows, we got 4 bids that were put out there. And when we talked about it in admin and finance, we had a couple options, and I believe the first 3 were Kawasaki lawnmowers, and each of these businesses were not from Homer Glen, but we did the bidding process. Now Shorewood is providing the John Deere lawnmower, which that company is in the United States, John Deere is, and everybody knows that. And Shorewood is also somebody who has their business right here in Homer Glen. And we thought, as the Admin and Finance Committee as a whole, thought that patronizing a business that lives in Homer Glen, and it's a company that has its foundation right here in America, I made the motion that we accept Shorewood, even though it's a couple more dollars than the other bids. It still is a local resident that owns that business, or it's a local business, and again, it's John Deere Company.
And I'd also like to say that we had a contract with Berry Landscaping, and they were charging us basically about $46,000 a year for just cutting the median. So this is going to bring it in-house, and then we won't be having any more outside contracts, so we'll be taking care of everything then.
Agreed. Our payback on this is less than 1 year with buying these 2 mowers. And Rose, you're absolutely right. It was $4,600 per season, plus an extra $4,500 for the herbicide treatment program. So I think this is good. This we couldn't do any better than this in helping our local business.
Okay. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Castellino? Aye. Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Baha? Aye. Trustee Gilpel?
Aye.
And trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 10, consider for approval quote from CDW-G in the amount of $6,658.38 for Adobe software.
So moved.
I'll second.
Discussion?
I think this is basically to bring the Adobe Acrobat in-house, and it actually saves us a lot of money for contracting out for doing a lot of our artwork and web design and all of that. So I think it's better that we do it in-house.
Okay. Any other
Are we
discussion?
gonna-
Yeah, so staff work, I just gotta give kudos to staff because they worked really hard. We all put our heads together as staff. We figured out who needed what, and we actually lowered the bill from $8,306 to $6,658. We're trying to save some money for the village, so I just want to give kudos to staff for working so hard on doing that, so that's all.
Okay. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Baha?
Aye.
Trustee Gilpel?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
And trustee Castellino? Aye.
Motion carries. Next would be 11, consider for approval an intergovernmental agreement with Homer Township Road District for the 2024 and 2025 Homer Glen Festival.
I'll second.
Who made the first?
It was Ruben and Jennifer.
Us. That's everybody.
Ruben and Jennifer.
Any discussion?
No, the only thing I can add to this is we have to have an IGA when we have the residents walking across the township for the village event, and we're working together. Instead of doing this on an annual basis, it was actually the road district's idea to come up with a three-year agreement. I think Carmen also, we had that conversation. And instead of going back every year and doing this every time we have the festival, we're just going to put three years at a time. We thought would be a good number to do. So we shouldn't have to come back to it for 2 more years after this.
Also, I want to thank Supervisor Balich and Commissioner Perfilio. With your cooperation with us, we've bridged the gap, not only theoretically, but physically. Thank you to you gentlemen. Not only did you bridge the gap, you did it with a road to connect both of our facilities. So we really appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Next would be 12. Oops, call the roll, please.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Fielko? Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
And Trustee Cancelino?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next one, consider for approval resolution 23-003, a resolution authorizing a change of street names from Lady Bar Avenue to Lady Bar Lane.
That's right.
So moved.
I'll second.
Discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Trustee Cancelino? Aye. And Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next would be 13, consider for approval the proposed calendar of events for 2023.
So moved.
I will second that.
Any discussion?
Well, I'd just like to give a shout out to Jacqueline and her department for actually really putting all this together. They're actually going to be doing some different events as well. I mean, they're going to be putting in some pop-up events, and so they're coming up with some really good ideas for the coming year. So I'm really excited about it. I say great job.
Thank you.
Yes, I'd like to say the same thing. Jacqueline, Elena, and Kristen, right?
Chris.
The unbelievable job that they're doing. They have stepped up to the plate, kind of in the middle of the game here, and to take on the projects that they've taken on and do such a great job with it. It's just amazing. And that was Carmen. Thank you for bringing those 3 employees on. They're very nice, easy to work with, and I'll tell you, they're there to help us and to make us successful. And it's a breath of fresh air. I can't say that. So thank you very much.
Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Trustee Cancelino? And Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 14, consider for approval ordinance number 22-003, an ordinance amending the code of the Village of Homer Glen, Chapter 138, Land Use and Site Development, amending Article 1-138-1 and 138-5, and Chapter 220 zoning, amending Articles 8, 9, 10, attachment, Table 1A, and attached Table 2A, case number HG2214A.
So moved. I'll second.
Discussion?
I just want to thank staff, Melissa, thank you, Joe, thank you, Taylor.
Thank you for your patience.
Thank you. Can't say it enough, we know we're difficult when it comes to the codes and amending, but
It's all those
thank you.
who were worried about being able to have chickens with that rezone, where we have that area out there that's zoned so differently.
Sure.
And they were really, so this is for them.
Are there any questions?
Madam Clerk,
Let's hurry up and vote for Melissa.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Cancelino?
Aye.
Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Trustee Laha? And Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
motion carries. Now we go to number 15. I'm
Sorry,
sorry
we're
for,
on to G. Well, G.
sorry about the delay in public comment. I don't have the list yet. I will try to get you up here as fast as I can. The first one would be Pat Sheridan.
Drama tonight, guys. This is good stuff. Okay. What is equity? Equity is equality of outcome. Equality of outcome attempts to secure an equitable future for all. In a free society with human free will, equality of outcome is impossible. If you have a society built around the goal of equality of outcome, and that goal is not achieved, eventually the method our leaders will take to reach equality of outcome will be one of force. They will try to force equality of outcome. They are trying to do it right now. The current government's main goal is equity. You probably can't miss it because it stares you in the face every single day. The government has been shown to be compromised, immoral, corrupt, and inept, the federal government. So, our ineffectual and idiotic elected officials have tasked themselves with the responsibility of righting the wrongs of the past, even though it was their very policies that are directly responsible for producing all of the inequity that we see in the world, specifically when it comes to racial and class-based discrepancies. Our government has essentially turned our constitutional republic into a banana republic. The House of Representatives has not opened up the amendment process on the House floor in years. Congresspeople literally cannot offer amendments on bills. Heads of party create the bills behind closed doors, and they are multiple, thousands of pages long. And the congressperson has 2 days max to read it. These people are voting on bills they don't even read. Our representatives do not represent us. We have officially looped back into taxation without representation. And these are the people we want to help fix our problems. These are the people we want to force us into an equitable future. And the only people that show any interest in bettering the congressional process are politicians that the media and people like anti-racism expert Ibram X. Kendi have labeled as white supremacists. Ibram X. Kendi is a big proponent of forcing equity upon us. Ibram X. Kendi states in his book, How to Be an Anti-Racist, that the only remedy for past discrimination is present discrimination. And the only remedy to present discrimination is future discrimination. What? This man is one of the preeminent scholars on anti-racism and trying to build toward an equitable future, a future where there will be a never-ending tide of discrimination against all people. This system of governance is how our government, with Mr. Kendi's help, plans to force equity onto us all. Equity advocates for the redistribution of power based on race, gender, and sexuality. Equity activists created the concept of whiteness.
You have 30 seconds.
Oh, really?
You do.
But that lady had like 75 minutes. Which, really, it's a 5-minute speech.
It's not my fault.
I'm just going to keep going, so you guys go.
Gary, could you help us out here? You have, through OMA, you have 3 minutes for public comment.
Equity advocates for
These are looked at differently.
Equity advocates for the redistribution of power based on race, gender, and sexuality. Equity activists created the concept of whiteness, which is essentially viewed through their eyes as a way that white people and ethnic and cultural minorities that embrace what they consider to be white culture actually benefit from a system of power that bestows privilege onto the wielder. They also view whiteness as a form of property. They consider it private property. The equity activists speak of their intent to abolish whiteness. Look out, guys. They plan on doing this by discriminating in the present for things that happened in the past, and in the future for things that are happening in the present, until society is perfectly equitable and everyone has the same level of power. Can anyone tell me what system of control and governance seeks to seize the means of production and power, seeks to abolish private property, and wants to create a utopian society where everyone is the same? The answer is communism. The people that advocate for equity are communists, and they plan on discriminating against every person in America that benefit from a system they refer to as whiteness. It does not matter if you're white, black, Asian, Arab, Hispanic, a Scientologist, or believe you were born in the wrong body. Equity is coming for us all. What are we going to do about it? Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, they are active communists. And everyone just sits around and lets it happen. And it's a disgrace.
4:20. That's how long the video was. Have a good night, guys. My name's Patrick. You got my email address. Anyone ever wants a newsletter about the communist takeover that's happening in the country, feel free to hit me up. God bless. Unless you're a communist.
Okay, the next one is Mike Bus.
Who's next?
Mike Bus. Going out there, how about, we could go in.
Those may have been some of the variances, John.
Some of the variances. Tom Better.
Is the variance?
Peter Kuchasnias, that's the liquor. Yeah. Redford Filio.
I'll try to be quick. Thank you for letting me speak. I wanted to announce the Homer Township Highway Commissioner Special Needs Grant. The window of opportunity for that just opened on February 1st. It runs through April 1st. Nicole helped me out a lot last year on that. I know she's real busy this year. I would appreciate if the Ability Awareness Committee could assist me with selections. This is for special needs kids over the age of 18. I know there's hundreds of them that live in Homer Township, and that's one of the requirements for the grant. It is a $5,000 grant. It's paid for by myself and the road district. The only requirements this year, I cut it back a little bit to open up the door to more people. You have to be over 18, you have to have a special needs diagnosis, you have to live in Homer Township, and the nominating person has to write an essay about your life and challenges and other things like that. It is announced on the Homer Glen website, it's on the Homer Township website, it's on the Homer Township Road District website. It's an online application, it's very easy. If anyone has issues with it, please contact me through email or my cell phone, or you can talk to me after the meeting. This award was inspired by my son. I have a 28-year-old autistic son, and I saw the challenges that he went through after he graduated from high school. There's not as much of a support system as there is for the kids under the age of 18. And I know Nicole has that she routinely announces workshops with the Ability Awareness Committee to help out people with these items, and I appreciate that. And that's all that I have. Thank you.
Superintendent Porfilio, thank you very much for bringing your kindness to our village and your thoughtfulness. It's amazing to see this type of thing take place. And for you to take that leadership role and to do this for the township and the village, thank you very much.
One more thing, if there's people that have issues with being on a computer, you can mail it to me or drop it off at my office on 151st Street, about a mile down the street, in an envelope if there's issues with the online application. Thanks.
Mayor Yukich, can I say something?
line is bumpy.
Oh, can I just respond to his? Thank you for bringing that back again. I strongly support it. I think it was really nice last year, and my wishes and hopes are that it's even more popular this year. So thank you for doing that again.
Thank you for helping.
Yeah. Thank you.
Next would be Sue Styler.
Hi, I'm just here because I'm a candidate up in the next election for village trustee, and I have questions and concerns about signage. I went to the website to look at the rules and ordinances, and I believe the information on the website is out of date, and I would just like clarification. And when I was an employee, one of the things that we did is we did post on Facebook and on the website any extra rules and boundaries regarding signs, to just so that it's a level playing field for all of the candidates. Thank you.
Joe, I have a question, if I could make a response to that. Joe, I know you said that you were going to be putting something out about the signage going up in the area. One of my questions to you is, and I brought this to your attention, was that during the general election, there were all signs everywhere. So, and your response to me was that we would have to have a letter if we were going to be putting stuff on private property. My question is that are there any letters on file from the general election from people requesting permission to put signs on private property? Do we have any letters on record in the village?
On private property, we put that?
Right, well,
No.
I know Purple Onion, one of the questions that arose was Purple Onion and the fact that that is private property. So my question is that do we have letters from the general election from people asking permission to put, were letters required in this village?
They were not.
They were not. Okay, thank you.
Okay, next would be Mike Carlson.
Wow, this is a great meeting. This is nice and relaxed, and Jennifer, you nailed it. Perfect. I wanted to ask you, Mayor, the water bill, your trustees, anybody, can we put together a task force with our community where we have people come into the village, we sit down, we discuss something, we put a plan together, and we go after, as a group, go after Illinois American Water, because this water is just really expensive out here. It's just crazy how they're killing us out here. I don't see any other towns that have water bills as high as we do, and we're a small town. I mean, I just was asking if we can do something about the water bill. And I also wanted to say, you know, doing the splash pond at the park, I'm so excited for that. It's been a good year, hearing all these good things that the trustees and the village board and everybody's been doing, working hard. My main concern is the water. I'd like to see something happen with the water. If we can fight, you said something the last time it's in court, do we need to get a group of people, go to the courtroom, and do we need to, you know, go outside and hold signs? I don't know. I mean, do we have anybody that can help us out, put it together, start some kind of thing on Facebook where we get residents to sign up for, and we go and we fight for this water? That's all I have, really. I mean, I'm just more concerned about the water than anything. So I know it's going to go up even more. It's ridiculous now, but people adjust to it now. Right now, it's such a hard time for everybody to make ends meet, and then they have this huge water bill coming up, and it's really going to downgrade our town. People come and move to Homer Glen because of what we have. You know, people are like, yeah, well, I'm not going to move there. The water bill's too high. You know, we got to change this. And you being a mayor, I think that we should all come together as a family and let's change the way this water bill is presented to us. We got to do something. That's all I got.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, before we move to old business, if I can be recognized for a moment, I think we need to clean up a couple items here. Items J, 3, 4, and 5 regarding the liquor license issues. The village code under section 83-61, it's the liquor license or the liquor code here in the village under subsection O. There is a prohibition against any public officials having a liquor license. However, they are allowed to with certain conditions, and one of those conditions is the official that's granted a license cannot vote on alcoholic liquor issues that are pending before the board. So, in this situation, for your benefit, for both of you, I think we need to revote. You do have to abstain under the village.
Is that the language in the ordinance?
Yes.
It's not what I reviewed, I'm sorry.
I'm looking at it right here.
All right, well, I'd like to review the language in the ordinance.
That, absolutely. My concern, though, is that we have a vote, and if it's going to be on the record that these trustees have voted on a liquor license issue, that would be problematic for them. I'm trying to give an opportunity to have this taken care of and fixed, so that way you can recuse yourself. And we'll go from there, but it's 83-61O, restrictions on licenses. That's all I have, Mayor. If you don't want to take it up, that's fine.
Let's pause for a minute, because I want to make sure that you guys are, covered here.
Is that Illinois code or municipal?
This is the Homer Glen Village Code.
Let's pause for a minute, make sure. Can we have Carrie review? Thank you. Yeah.
As you guys pause, you mind if I speak a little bit about the Northwest Water Agency?
Well, right ahead, please, I think it fits right in.
So, Mr. Carlson, thank you for bringing attention. The Northwest Water Agency has deemed a settlement with Illinois American Water. Bolingbrook will be putting out a press release, so I'm not going to get into the details, but we know that there is a rate freeze that's going to be instituted for 5 years. So that was a fight that we fought for a long time. It was about 16 years, George, I think we were in this fight. A lot of legal bills, a lot of time, a lot of effort. We got into the court. They just beat us up. So the agency had decided amongst all the mayors and village managers that are involved, and the judge had asked that we go for a settlement. As soon as we get a press release on that, we'll definitely make sure that the residents and everybody in this village knows exactly what happened with that settlement. And I know it has to be approved also with the ICC too, so we're just waiting for some more information on that. So just an update.
Carmen, it's,
Actually, if I may address what the village attorney said, if I'm reading this correctly, it says the official granted a license does not vote on alcoholic liquor issues pending before the board. It does not say license approvals. However, if you would like to readdress the vote that was taken, I believe that vote was 3 ayes, initially 3 ayes, 2 abstentions, and the mayor was asked to vote and he said he would not. I believe that would be the only issue at this point in time. I'm not sure about the other 2 that are on the agenda, but you could at this point recall the vote on those issues and re-vote if you care to. It's entirely.
Okay, which one are you considering the issue out of the 2?
I'm not considering it as an issue at all, but I'm saying if you would like to do that, you can.
Is it necessary?
So that the trustees involved would not be accused falsely of doing something inappropriate.
So until we clarify, I think it's better that we do that.
Okay, good.
That
So
way there's more clarity.
before you adjourn the meeting, let's recall those particular items on the agenda for a vote and for consideration by the board. That's probably the best way to do it, and then the 2 of you can abstain regardless of the actual interpretation of this language in the ordinance. However, it does not say license, Eric, it says issues, and I'm not so sure what that language may mean.
Shall not vote on
When you
alcoholic.
say that it says something,
don't-
and I asked you if it said, I asked you if that was the language, and you said it was. That was not the language.
Sir, I read you the language. Let me repeat. The official granted a license does not vote on alcoholic liquor issues pending before the board. Exactly. The awarding of a liquor license is a liquor issue.
I'm not so sure. But let's do that now to clear this up, okay?
The other aspect of it was also to ensure that there's no appearance of impropriety or any trouble. I mean, I don't understand that. That was when I first told you, Ruben, was that this is my interpretation of the ordinance. And secondly, it also eliminated any appearance of impropriety on your part because you weren't voting on any liquor licenses.
All right, so I
Are we looking at the word issue as a problem or issued as given to?
Exactly.
That's the definition. Are we looking at this is a problem, that's an issue, or I am issuing as I am giving it to you? That would make a difference.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think for the sake of clarity, because I don't want this to come up
Can we not clarify to you though?
Let's recall the vote.
Recall?
Yes.
and then we could always amend or change or whatever.
because we always know how false accusations will go after this. So I agree with waiting, abstain for now, and then we'll clarify it at the next meeting.
So we were at J3 was the first one. I'm sorry, George, do you want to read?
Before we get started, I would like to ask legislative council a question. Should we roll these back and table it? Would that be better than putting it to the vote?
I do know that I'm sorry.
So we can address it at the next meeting then.
Yeah.
Because if we vote on it now, I don't know what that changes. If we just roll it back and then only vote with who was here,
You still have to rescind the vote
Right.
on those ordinances.
what I'm saying is, should we take and table each of those items then?
You can do that if you care to, yes.
I would recommend we take, the business should not suffer because of our
We had an issue.
disagreement, right?
Anyways.
So if the mayor's willing to vote on it, to get them their license, and that's what we should do.
You should vote at this point to rescind the vote on, what was it, 3, 4, and 5?
Yes.
Okay? Items 3, 4, and 5.
Okay.
And then read and re-vote on the particular items.
I wasn't really, George, which one did George vote no on?
He didn't vote on it.
He didn't vote. He said he wasn't going to vote.
Okay, but you will in this case?
George,
If I may, so Carrie, are you recommending that someone makes a motion? We're under old business, correct?
We're going back into the regular meeting.
Regular board meeting, and you
Regular
want to
board
rescind
meeting,
each
not
and
old
every,
business.
okay,
There should be a motion to rescind
individually.
on numbers 3, 4, and 5 on the agenda.
And one of them was a motion and
Right, I'm like, wait a second. So are you doing them all together? Like, someone's gonna make a motion to rescind all three together?
The
Then do
rescind
it
should be
separately, but you should do a motion to rescind each of them.
you did say separately, correct?
You can do them separately, yes.
Do we do them collectively?
You can do them collectively too, but you are rescinding the vote.
So, who made the motion? Let's start, we're gonna start with 3 then, right? With I3, right?
So you're doing them
Or
individually?
J3, I'm sorry, J3. So if we're starting with J3, who made the motion and the second on J3?
Trustee Fialko and trustee Reinders.
Okay, I will rescind my motion on J3.
And I will rescind my vote on J3. I'm sorry, as the second, I will rescind my vote on J3.
I
Making a
understand.
motion to rescind the vote on number 3.
that's number
Motion by trustee Fialko, second by trustee Reinders, correct?
Yes.
And we have to vote on that.
Roll call.
Okay, trustee Pazmino,
Can I vote on it? Go
Yes,
ahead.
yes.
trustee Laha. Aye. Trustee Fialko. Trustee Consolino. Aye. And trustee Reinders.
Aye.
Now, the same thing should be done on number 4.
Okay, so then J4 was, again, trustee Fialko and now trustee Pazmino.
I will rescind my motion on number 4.
And I will rescind my second.
Okay, trustee Pazmino.
Aye.
Trustee Laha.
Aye.
Trustee Fialko.
Aye.
Trustee Consolino.
Aye.
And trustee Reinders.
Aye.
Okay, for J5, it was trustee Fialko and trustee Reinders.
Now on that one, do we have to do the motion and the amendment? Or just the motion?
The entire matter should be rescinded.
So which one do we start with? The motion to amend or the motion itself?
Well, the motion to amend was to change the fee
Correct.
2,000 to 500, correct?
To 1,500. Yes.
1,000 for the application and
Yeah,
500.
just make a motion to rescind that,
The amendment.
yes.
Okay? I will make a motion to rescind my motion to amend the fee on J5.
Trustee Reinders, you were second.
And I will motion to rescind my vote on that motion, on that second vote.
Roll call.
Trustee Pazmino.
Aye.
Trustee Laha.
Aye.
Trustee Fialko.
Aye.
Trustee Consolino.
Aye.
And trustee Reinders.
Aye.
Now, the same motion applies to the motion.
Now we have to do the same thing with the motion.
Yes.
So who
You and Reinders again.
Okay. I will rescind my motion on the motion for number 5, J5.
And I will rescind my second motion on J5.
Trustee Pazmino.
Aye.
Trustee Laha.
Aye.
Trustee Fialko.
Aye.
Trustee Consolino.
Aye.
And trustee Reinders.
Aye.
Okay, let's go back to J3.
Now, number 3 would be a motion to approve item 3 on the agenda.
Okay, and we can now go into make the motion in a second.
Yes.
Okay, so we're on J3. I'll make the motion for J3.
Second.
Okay.
And just so you know, you are, in numbers 3 and 4, you are only rescinding and increasing
Right.
liquor licenses. So I'm not so sure that those fit under that ordinance, but to protect the two of you from any
Repercussions.
unwanted repercussions. We'll go through this little exercise. So on number 3, that would be the first motion pending.
Okay, trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Abstain.
And trustee Kazmino?
Abstain.
Mayor Yukich? This is to rescind, I'm sorry, this is J3. It's just to remove the
It's
Chipotle.
decreasing
It's
one.
decreasing. Oh,
You must vote, Mayor.
thank you. Okay, and then we'll move to J4. Consider for approval ordinance number 23-009, an ordinance amending 83-68 of the Code of the Village of Homer Glen, increasing the number of a Class A liquor license issued within the Village of Homer Glen.
I will make that motion.
Second. Trustee Pazmino?
I must abstain.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
And Trustee Reinders?
Abstain.
Mayor Yukich? Mayor Yukich?
Yes.
Okay, let's move, motion carries. Let's move on to J5. Consider for approval ordinance number 23-010, an ordinance assigning available Class A liquor license, restaurant with service bar to DSB Restaurants, Inc., DBA Blueberry Hill.
I'll make that motion.
So moved.
You mean second?
Second.
Trustee Pazmino?
I must abstain.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Did you have a question, Craig?
Well, usually before we, I would like to add the motion to amend at that point because we did that first and then came back to the motion itself. So I would like to make the motion to amend the structure of the fee to make it, to prorate it. So we're being fair with that business in home, down to a total of $1,500.
Okay, so trustee Fialko, motion to amend, trustee Consolino?
Second.
Second. Okay, so now we're voting on the motion to amend.
Yes.
All right, trustee Pazmino?
I must abstain.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
And trustee Reinders?
I must abstain.
Okay. Now we're actually voting on the, oh, and Mayor Yukich?
Yeah.
Aye, thank you. And now we're actually voting on the motion itself. Any discussion? Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
I must abstain.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino? Aye. Trustee Reinders?
Abstain.
Mayor Yukich?
Yes.
Those are gonna be-
All right, is there any new business? Old business.
I want to, Christine, can you do business license report at the next meeting?
Oh, yeah, I was gonna,
Got it all, okay.
yeah, sure. All right, I guess we're moving on to old business.
Yes, I've already asked. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Fialko, any?
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting